Global alert! Russia warns these two European powers. Russia is thinking about putting short and medium-range missiles in Asia because the US has missiles there. This is according to Sergei Ryabkov, Russia's deputy foreign minister. Ryabkov said they've talked about this many times, and wherever the US puts its military will affect what Russia does next, including military actions. When asked about missiles in Asia, he said Russia's agreements don't stop them from using new medium-range missiles, like the ones they used in Ukraine. He also said Russia didn't talk to the US before these tests. Meanwhile, things are getting tense in Europe as countries talk about sending soldiers or mercenaries to Ukraine. A French newspaper, Le Monde, says the UK and France are talking about working together on military stuff to make Europe safer and help Ukraine. This is a big deal because the US might help Ukraine less if Donald Trump becomes president, since he might focus on other things. Estonia also thinks Europe should get ready to send troops to help keep the peace with Russia. Trump's team is making an energy plan that will allow more liquefied natural gas to be sold to other countries and make it easier to get oil from US land and waters. This plan also wants to get rid of old climate rules, like tax breaks for electric cars and rules about clean energy. This means getting fossil fuels will be really important to Trump. At NATO, Admiral Rob Bauer, who's in charge of the military committee, wants countries to spend way more on defense, like 3% of their money. In a speech in Brussels, he said it's important to not rely on China for important stuff like rare earth materials and medicines, so everyone stays safe. Sadly, a tourist boat, the Sea Story, sank in the Red Sea near a popular diving spot in Egypt, and lots of people are missing. There were 31 tourists from different countries and 14 crew members. Even with helicopters and the Egyptian Navy helping, they lost contact after a mayday call. Russia says it destroyed 8 missiles and some drones Ukraine launched in the last 24 hours. Russian air defenses shot them down, while Russian planes and artillery attacked 138 Ukrainian military and energy sites. Kursk, a region near the border, was hit by lots of missiles and drones, according to Governor Alexei Smirnov. Air defenses stopped most of the attack, but Russia hasn't said how much damage there was. French President Emmanuel Macron and UK leader Keir Starmer are talking about working closer together on military things, maybe even sending soldiers to Ukraine. They want a core group of European allies focused on defense. France also suggested using private companies to train Ukrainian soldiers and give technical help, like a British company called Babcock already does in Ukraine. French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot said Western allies shouldn't limit how they help Ukraine, talking about how Germany doesn't want to give certain long-range weapons. France said Ukraine can use French missiles to defend itself but didn't say if they've been used against Russia. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said, European countries don't agree about sending troops to Ukraine. He knows some politicians are thinking about it, but said nothing's been decided yet, and it's just rumors. So, the world is still a tense place, with lots of military, strategic, and economic problems. From Russia maybe putting missiles in Asia, to more talks about military help in Europe, and the U.S. quote. As energy plans, there are lots of complicated problems around the world. Things are very delicate right now, and decisions could change history. With all this tension, the threat of missiles hangs over Asia, and military talks in Europe are getting serious. It feels like we're on the edge of something big, and world leaders are making plans. Russia, with all its problems, is saying it might put short and medium-range missiles in Asia. That's scary. Sergei Ryabkov, from the Russian Foreign Ministry, said if the US keeps putting its military in Asia, Russia will fight back. We've thought about this a lot, he said, making it clear the US should be careful. Anything the US does could start a fight. Agreements that used to stop Russia don't matter as much anymore. The Ors and Kreslin missiles used in Ukraine show Russia is serious. Asia is like a chessboard, and everyone's being careful. In Europe, something else is happening. France and the UK, old friends, are secretly talking about sending soldiers to Ukraine. They've talked before, but now it's urgent. The war in Ukraine is a fire that's out of control, and Europe is worried the US, with Trump as president, won't help as much. Macron and Starmer are leading these talks. They want a group of European countries to focus on keeping everyone safe, especially Ukraine. In Paris and London, people remember past decisions about sending troops and keeping people safe. Macron is a leader in tough times, and he seems ready to send military help, even if it's risky. Starmer has a tough choice to make, because any military decision could change the war and how people see him as a leader. It's not just governments involved. Private companies like Babcock and some French companies are already involved. They're training Ukrainian soldiers and fixing equipment, making them important players in this war. The Kremlin is watching. Peskov says Europe doesn't agree on what to do. Leaders are arguing, but some, who Peskov calls hotheads, seem ready to fight. Russia's message is clear. Don't get involved, or else. Everything is happening so fast, and everyone's nervous. Asia and Europe are dangerous places right now, and one wrong move could cause big problems. Missiles might be aimed at Asia, soldiers might go to Ukraine, and everything could change. The world is watching. This is a big moment in history, and no one knows what will happen next.